Good morning. It's Friday, May 22nd. Here's what we're working on.
I'm Simone Gavros reporting live in Hamilton. OPP are on scene of a vehicle flipped into a ditch on Highway 403 near Highway 6. We'll have more details coming up.
Halton police have seized thousands of gift cards as part of an organized fraud.
And Hamilton's new American League hockey team will be called the Hammers. Hammers, if they want to go that way. We've discussed this. Good morning.
That's the way I see it when I look at that name.
I mentioned that to my wife yesterday. It's like, Hammers? Wait. And it's like, oh, yes, she got it. Thankfully, it's Friday.
Yes.
And weather-wise, Steve, in for Brian once again today. What's in store for the weekend?
Well, if you liked yesterday, and actually a lot of people did like yesterday. They liked it a little.
It was nice.
Yeah, actually it was nice.
Not bad, sunny, and if you sort of edged your way out of the windy conditions, it was even warmer than that. So we got more or less the same kind of a day, but we'll notice an increase in cloud because we do have a system coming in which will bring us some rain mostly Saturday and probably sitting around till Sunday and Monday as well. But for now, we've got some nice conditions out there at 6:01 on your Friday. Thanks for spending part of your morning with us here. Let's have a look and see what's happening on the roads. And again, I mentioned that the 403 and 6, there was a police investigation going on out there with a car. That's ongoing right now, so that'll be a little slow in that area. Let's go down to the Niagara area, and we'll see that conditions are fairly calm, as they have been usually most of this week. Looking at Niagara Street, again, no problems out there. Whether or not a factor in your drive today, that won't be the same for tomorrow and Saturday as well. Looking at the Burlington Skyway Bridge, seeing things actually fairly light right now. Maybe a lot of people working from home. As you make the turn, actually in and around Brant Street there, it seems a little on the busier side. Up by Pearson Airport, traffic's moving along in good shape. So a good start to the day, and let's hope it stays that way. Again, it's Friday. Looks like the traffic's a little bit lighter in most areas, and that's not so bad for those of you who have to commute. But we'll check more traffic and the weather coming up.
Thank you, Steve. OPP are on the scene of a crash on the westbound lanes of Highway 403 near Highway 6 in Hamilton. That's where we find Simone Gavros, who's joining us live from the scene. Good morning, Simone.
Hi, Rick. We're just here on Plains Road right now, where you can see just past me behind here where that road closure is taking place on the highway. Now, there's just some vehicle that's pushed off on the side on the westbound lanes, but we're going to show you some drone viz right now of the scene. There's a vehicle flipped over on its roof, sitting in the ditch in the far left lane. Police say the call came in for the single vehicle crash around 4:30 this morning. Now, right now, 5 police cars are blocking the far left lane heading into Hamilton. There's no information on any injuries at this time, and the cause of the crash is still under investigation. Now, it's also unclear how long this road closure is going to remain in place on the highway. Again, it's just the far left lanes on the Highway 403 headed westbound. So we're waiting to get more information from police about what this is going to look like and how long this road closure is going to remain in place. But just stay with us here on CHCH News for more details. For now, things back over to you, Nat.
Okay, thank you, Simone. Halton police have uncovered a very sophisticated gift card scam, and they've seized 5,700 prepaid gift cards, along with tools to tamper with and print the cards. Police also recovered a 2012 BMW, thousands of bottles of alcohol, pellet guns, and counterfeit cash. They allege a man had been placing compromised gift cards in stores and then stealing the value once unsuspecting customers bought and activated the cards. 2 men from Mississauga face several charges. Police say this scam was being run across the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area, as well as into Niagara, Brantford, Kitchener, and Barrie.
A personal support worker faces serious charges after a sexual assault at a long-term care facility in Simcoe. OPP say the PSW has worked in Norfolk since 2023, and they're asking anyone who may have contact with him to come forward. 43-year-old Christopher Cowan has been charged with sexual assault, sexual exploitation of a person with a disability, and forcible confinement.
3 people made it out safely after a house fire in Niagara Falls. It started just before 11 yesterday at a home on Brookdale Drive near Thorold Stone Road in the Falls. Niagara Fire says it started in the kitchen and worked its way into the attic of the house. The fire department believes that unattended cooking caused this fire. They say that's the second most common cause of house fires, and they're asking people to stay in the kitchen if you're cooking. The 3 people inside were alerted by their smoke alarms.
Hamilton police have wrapped up their investigation at a house fire on the East Mountain. The home on Mountain Brow Boulevard near Upper Ottawa is owned by Hamilton mobster Rocco Lupino. It has been vacant for years and caught fire early Monday morning. The fire was initially believed to be suspicious, but police say arson is no longer suspected. The Ontario Fire Marshal's office is continuing its investigation into where and how the fire started.
Tick season has started. Hamilton Public Health says over 90% of Hamilton has been identified. It is an area for black-legged ticks. They're the ones that can carry Lyme disease. What ticks do is called questing. So they hang out on leaves or grass with their back legs while reaching out with their front legs for an animal or a person to pass and then grab onto.
If you're out hiking in a wilderness area and there is a path or a trail, try to stay central to the trail. Don't go off the trail into heavy brush areas. If they do find a tick on them, they're going to want to remove the tick properly, using either a tick removal tool. There are specialized tools for that, or a pair of tweezers to pull the tick off of your skin, directly pulling the tick away from your skin so that the part of the tick doesn't break off inside of your skin, so it just cleanly removes it, kind of like removing a sliver.
And when it comes to ticks, here's an acronym to keep in mind. WHAT. It stands for waist, hairline, armpits, and toes. All places where ticks like to hang out on people. As for pets, they tend to target the head and behind the ears. Ticks are also a concern in Montreal, where public health officials say the city has seen its highest levels of Lyme disease since 2003. The tick-borne illness is on the rise across Quebec, with 869 cases reported between January 1st and November 5th of last year. Of those, 161 were in Montreal, and the Public Health Agency estimates 38% were contracted within the city, so it's not just out in rural wooded areas. The entire island of Montreal has been considered at risk of tick exposure since 2024. 12 Canadians deported from Israel have now arrived in Turkey. The activists say they were among the global Samud flotilla participants detained by Israel last weekend, trying to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza. Our Foreign Affairs Minister, Anita Anand, says she's received information last night describing the, quote, appalling abuse of Canadians who were detained in Israel. She also says consular officials are on the ground, making sure the Canadians get urgent medical care so they can return to Canada as soon as possible. Well, the Canada Strong Pass begins on June 19th. It offers discounts on Via Rail travel and admission to museums and national parks throughout the summer. Canadian Heritage says the pass will give everyone free entry to all Parks Canada sites across the country until September 7th, as well as a 25% rebate on camping fees. Those planning on taking Via Rail could also be eligible for a discount. Those under 18 traveling with their parents can ride for free, while travelers between 18 and 24 get 25% off their fares. All national museums will offer free entry for kids under 18 and 50% off for those aged 18 to 24. And again, it's all this summer.
Sportsline, the NHL's Eastern Conference Final is underway, and the rest versus rust debate may have been settled. The Carolina Hurricanes played their first game in 11 days, the longest rest in the NHL playoffs since 1920. And they started well, with Seth Jarvis scoring just 33 seconds after the opening faceoff. But it was all Montreal after that. Cole Caulfield tied the game just 27 seconds later, and Philip Deneau, Alexander Texier, and Ivan Demidov also pumped goals past Freddie Anderson in the first 11 minutes, en route to a dominating 6-2 win and a 1-0 series lead. It was Carolina's first loss of the postseason and the first time they've allowed more than 2 goals in a playoff game this spring. Juraj Slafkovsky scored twice in the third period for Montreal, while Jakub Dobiš had 24 saves. The logo and color scheme for Hamilton's new professional hockey team has been revealed. The Hamilton Hammers logo features crossed hammers symbolizing the strength, grit, and togetherness of the community, which embodies the steelworking heritage and the spirit of the game. Being the farm team for the New York Islanders, the orange and blue palette is a nod to the Isles' classic team colors. The team's uniforms have not been unveiled.
We're in hockey country. This team will be part of this community. It's going to work, and we're just so excited to be here back in Canada. Another Canadian team is exciting for us. The geography works with Toronto, natural rival, Belleville. Belleville wasn't around before, Rochester, Syracuse, and Laval now. So I mean, I think it's got a chance to be really successful.
The Hammers will begin playing in the American Hockey League this fall with home games set for TD Coliseum. Hamilton's Kia Nurse had her best game in a Toronto Tempo uniform, but it came in a losing cause. Nurse came off the bench and led all players with 23 points as the Tempo suffered their worst loss of the season, 100-72 against Minnesota. Maya Caldwell led the Lynx with 16 points, one of 5 Minnesota players to score in double digits. With the loss, Toronto falls to 3-3 after winning their previous 2 games. Brittany Sykes and Marina Mabry were held to a combined 9 points after totaling 61 in a win over Phoenix on Sunday. Two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Busch has died at the age of 41. His family had said Busch was hospitalized with a severe illness, but did not specify the type of illness or the cause of death. He was testing in the Chevrolet Racing Simulator on Wednesday when he became unresponsive and was transported to hospital in Charlotte, North Carolina. Busch won 234 NASCAR National Series races, the most of any driver, and was set to compete in this weekend's Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's survived by his wife, an 11-year-old son, and 4-year-old daughter. There is a lot of local sports to watch this weekend. The Hamilton Tiger Cats kick off the preseason tomorrow afternoon at 4 when they host the Argos at Hamilton Stadium. On tap tonight, the Hamilton Cardinals host Chatham-Kent, the Niagara River Lions visit Winnipeg, and the Memorial Cup starts tonight in Kelowna, BC, with the Rockets hosting Kitchener. Top seed Victoria Mboko of Burlington has moved on to the semifinal of the Strasbourg Open after sweeping fellow Canadian Leylah Fernandez 6-4, 6-4. Barry scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 10th and beat the Welland Jackfish 5-4 last night. And Mark Scheifele had a hat-trick as Canada upended Norway 6-5 to improve to 4-0 at the World Hockey Championship. The Canadians will play Slovenia today.
Okay, let's check your traffic. Let's see what's happening out there on the roads. It's 6:12 on your Friday. And again, more or less today is like yesterday, a little on the cooler side. Mostly sunny, but we'll notice some increased amounts of cloud because that brings some rain as we get into the weekend. But let's have a quick look and see Burlington Skyway Bridge. Now, this time yesterday, it was packed and it was going, so we could walk faster than they were driving, but it's looking in pretty good shape right now. Down towards the Niagara area, not seeing any problems again today. So that's some good news. East of Brant Street, looks like traffic is evened out just a little bit. But again, grab your sunglasses if you're heading eastbound today at all because you'll need them, that's for sure, especially early on in the morning. Up by the Ford plant, we're looking in pretty good shape. And again, just a mention, we do have that vehicle into the ditch, Highway 6 and 403 westbound. So that's a little slow there as one lane is blocked right now. So just watch that. 403 west of Mavis Road, traffic's moving along in good shape. And up by Pearson Airport, starting to see a little bit of traffic come in there, but still looking pretty good. So good start to Friday. Traffic's a little bit lighter today, so maybe some folks are working at home today. And into the weekend, we're looking for some rain, but for right now, we do have some cooler conditions with us, but they'll only last today and tomorrow. We're expecting, warmer air coming in as we get into Sunday, but still a little unsettled Sunday, Monday with a chance of some showers there. And but then next week looks kind of nice, so we'll get to that a little bit later on in our extended forecast. Right now, temperatures outside 5 in Hamilton, Grimsby 8, 6 in Mississauga, 11 in the Toronto area if you're starting your day in those areas. areas. For your Friday, May the 22nd, sun was up at 5:49 a.m. We'll be down at 8:44 p.m. Normal highs around 20 degrees this time of year, lows of 9 degrees. High pressure will give us another mostly sunny day, but as you can see here, we do have clouds starting to move into the area, and this low pressure system will do two things. It'll help to spruce up the temperature-wise by the time we get to Sunday, but also bring some rain, especially tomorrow. Hate to say that with the Tiger Cats preseason game going there, but that's the expectation. So if you're going to the game, make sure you take your rain gear. For today, we're looking at a high of 13, which is more or less what it was yesterday. UV very high. Northeast winds 30 to 50 kilometers an hour, and just a few clouds out there. And looking into tonight, we're looking for 11 degrees, warmer, and a few clouds. Quick look into tomorrow. Again, Saturday, and a chance of more than just a chance of rainy conditions out there. High of 13 again, and 20 to 40 kilometer an hour wind gusts here and there. So not a great weekend ahead of us, but next week looks okay, and we'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Steve. Coming up after the break, big rig dealers in Canada say they can't buy new trucks. We'll explain after the break. 6:17 on your Friday morning. On the markets this morning, the Canadian dollar is down slightly to 72.53 cents U.S. Gold is down $11 an ounce, and oil is up a couple of bucks to $98.38 U.S. a barrel. In midday European trading, London, Frankfurt, and Paris are all ahead this hour.
Key Asian markets closed ahead today, with the Nikkei leading the way, a gain of more than 1,600 points. It closed yesterday. Major North American markets were all up. The TSX up by triple digits.
Heavy-duty truck dealers in Canada say they won't be able to buy any new models next year unless the federal government resolves a problem with paperwork. Dealers warn if there's not a solution soon, Canada could face major supply chain disruptions. They say the problem stems from changes to how trucks built in the United States are certified for emission standards. Those certifications are now issued by the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The Canadian government only recognizes emission certifications from the Environmental Protection Agency, which previously gave the approvals.
In Paris, Airbus and Air France have been found guilty of corporate manslaughter. The ruling comes after France's worst ever air disaster, a 2009 Rio to Paris crash that killed 228 people. It comes after a lengthy trial involving two of France's best-known companies and relatives of the victims, most of them French, Brazilian, and German. The court has ordered the companies to pay the maximum fine for corporate manslaughter, the equivalent of about $310,000 Canadian for each passenger, for Airbus and for Air France.
U.S. President Donald Trump says the cost to clean, repair, and resurface the pool in front of Washington, D.C.'s Lincoln Memorial will be less than $20 million. Previously, Trump said it would be $2 to $3 million. But he says more work is needed on the exterior. According to federal records, the project is already up to $13 million. Trump hopes to have the renovations completed by the 4th of July weekend. The lawsuit filed by a non-profit group says the project violates federal laws, but the Justice Department defended the president's actions, arguing that no laws were violated because the project underwent a streamlined review.
Okay, we're taking a quick break right now. Steve is going to be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast. It includes a weekend that's kind of rainy.
Okay, let's check your traffic again. Up Pearson Airport in 401, it's looking actually in pretty good shape right now, so a lot better than it has been for the last, well, couple of days or so here, traffic-wise. But again, grab your sunglasses as you head out the door. We're expecting mostly sunny skies for a while. Top end of Toronto, 401 west of 400. Traffic's moving along a lot better than it was in through Hamilton. Actually, it continues here. Skyway moving along in good shape, so not seeing any major problems out there. It was a little bit slower along QEW east of Brant Street, but looking okay right now. Up by the Ford plant, not seeing any problems. So it's been a good start to the day. It's 6:23 in the morning. If you're heading out in the next little while, should be in pretty good shape. But again, expect some slowdowns in some areas, like at the 403 and 6 westbound. And this is just just outside of Hamilton, and there's a vehicle off to the side there, and police have blocked the left lane, so that will slow things down just a little bit. All right, let's check your weather and see what's happening. We'll check some temperatures just to start the day out there and see what we're going. More or less today will be like yesterday. It will be a little cooler, a little windier, but lots of sun. A lot of people really enjoyed yesterday. Temperatures in Hamilton 5, Grimsby 8, Mississauga 6, and Toronto looking at 11 degrees right now. So high pressure will give us mostly clear skies today with a northerly flow of air, but we're watching for a low pressure system to come up from the south, which will bring us some rain as we get into Saturday, Sunday, and it may linger into Monday as well. It may kind of sit on top of us for those 3 days, Friday, or rather Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, but warmer temperatures coming with that as well. Afterwards, we're looking for, looks like pretty dandy weather next week. Temperatures up to 13 degrees today, and again, we'll see increased amounts of cloud as we get into the afternoon as that system approaches. Your evening commute will be anywhere from 13 to 15 degrees, depending on where you are, and mostly sunny skies out there, so that's the good news. So looking ahead, we have a couple of cooler days ahead of us. Into the weekend, yeah, it's going to be a little bit on the rainy side, so prepare for that. But next week, temperatures up above seasonal, and we expect to see fairly sunny skies. That's a look at things for now.
Morning Live and Terra Greenhouses have teamed up this spring to help your gardens grow. Have a gardening-related question you would like to ask? Well, now is your chance.
Now, this week's question comes from Sandra in Hamilton, who asks, how do I keep my hanging baskets and planters flowering and looking good all season?
So you've brought home the most beautiful hanging basket or planter or window box, and you need to know, how do I keep it looking this beautiful all season long? In order to be healthy and thrive, you need good nutrition. And for plants, that means fertilizing. So when it comes to flower food, you've got two basic options, and that's slow release and water soluble. A slow release food, like your shake and feed or my personal favorite, Actisol hen manure food, comes in a granulated form that gets applied directly to the soil surface. It looks sort of like a gravel or a granule, and it breaks down slowly over time. Often this kind of food lasts anywhere from 6 weeks to about 3 months, and this is my preference for in-ground beds, and I like using it in containers as well. Now, water-soluble food, on the other hand, needs to be mixed with water before being applied. These are little crystals, they're blue often, and they get mixed up in the watering can before they get watered into the plant. I like using water-soluble food for my hanging baskets because it's like an instant boost of nutrition. It needs to be applied more often, about every 7 to 14 days. And lastly, remember that, especially in the heat of the summer, planters with the smallest volume, like a hanging basket, will need watered the most often. Expect to water your hanging baskets every day.
Submit your questions to chch.com/askagardener, and your inquiry could be answered right here on Morning Live.
Be watching every Friday morning at 6:25 for more tips from gardening expert Chris Morietti. Love these ideas.